Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You join us just in time to catch the start of the race. It was Hans Coe that took pole position, and he will lead us off at Kyalami. It is round 1 of ERS season 11, slight technical hitch, and we are running late, but the driver's certainly not here at a rainy Kyalami for an hour and 5 minutes. It's a good start from the front four as Coe takes the lead and maintains it into corner number 1. In the background, Ethan Faulkner in a 3-by situation. Oh, and the Aston Martin of Komaziuk has a big wiggle through the corner, loses a couple of positions there in the Ferrari of Barnett. Sorry, the Ferrari of Faulkner it was just in a 3-by situation. He's just vaulted from 6th up to 3rd position right at the start. We've got a BMW down in the background. Marjan Koderman will find himself with an ungodly rejoin there, takes out the Honda, who then goes 4 wide and almost wipes out another car as well. So a bit of chaos down at the back of the grid. Let's concentrate up at the front then. It is Coe, who is El Rapido Indeedo. He is leading the way. Marjan Koderman still sure at the top of the board. We'll let all the cars get through the time and deltas, and in fact it is Coe who's in 2nd position. Barnett has got the overtake done there. Let's see if we can catch that off the start. Some chaos further down the field. We're going to see a lot of runners and riders dropping off. Now let me just check that volume. There we go. Oh yeah, so the Honda having a big wiggle there, and that's exactly where the Porsche went round. I was too busy watching the Ferrari of Ethan Faulkner. He did make his way very vigorously past the Aston Martin that was presented to him. He did get himself up to 3rd, and that is where the lead of the race was taken. At the moment, it's Axel Ramano who's in 2nd place. Ethan Faulkner still in 3rd. We can maybe catch some of this action that was in the background as well. The majority of the field did make it through, but that turn 1 rejoin there, another driver caught out. Darrell Kruger caught up in that incident as well. In fact, I think, yeah, he was the green Aston Martin that was caught up in that. So not the best there. Paul Vettner is no longer in the server. He was caught up in that incident as well, I think, or he's been disconnected. Gulshian has made it up a couple of positions. He's now in 12th place. Still very close right through the field. 36 drivers. TP has been disqualified pending penalties. Some penalties have been cleared, so we've got a few drivers into the pit, so it's all changing. Pitwall Live is absolutely alive with a whole lot of data at the moment. Aguilera in the BMW. A pair of BMWs in 7th and 8th at the moment, with Lenoir just ahead of them, clocking the fastest opening lap. No doubt the battle up at the front very much the cause of that, as we're on board with Barnett, who is leading the way after a very tasty turn 1 manoeuvre. Ramone behind him with Faulkner in 3rd, going full defensive then is Ramone, and it could play into Faulkner's hands, and Komaziuk as well, just behind Marco Tacchini, not far from this battle as well, and Lenoir, who was the fastest man on the opening lap, down the mineshaft looking to close in as well. We jump on board with Tacchini. You can see the rain fall. Oh, and that's a big mistake there by the Aston, all over the inside of that curve, and Faulkner is going to defend that position there. Komaziuk was looking for a big move through Ngawi there, and it would have taken a big move. The curb completely unsettled the car, and we can see up at the front, in fact, out of the last corner, the Aston Martin of Ramone going side by side, and he tucks right back in behind. He was looking to take a move there as well. So positions in the top 5 absolutely up for grabs, left, right and centre. Lenoir crosses the line in 6th position. Ramone takes the fastest lap honours at the moment, and he takes a big look up the inside of turn number 1, going for the cutback comfortably though is Barnett to try and maintain the lead. Aston Martin on the right hand curves as they head up towards turn number 3. The Porsche gets there first. Has he done enough on the brakes? Oh, and he moves back onto the dry air part of the track, but they're going to go side by side into sunset. Will it be sunset for one of these drivers? Is Ethan Faulkner about to be handed a free position? The Aston Martin of Komaziuk in the background certainly looks like he's steadied the ship, and it is the lead of the race, and Ethan Faulkner is going to go round the outside of the Porsche. It's going to be a double positional loss for the Porsche. He didn't get the run out with turn number 3, and it's the Aston Martin of Ramone who's taking the lead down the hill. Ethan Faulkner still trying to get his way up in the second. A little bit of contact down into the SS Faulkner Backs out of it, gets straight back on the power though, and Aston Martin Kamaji looked all at sea in the rain. He's now looking at 2 podium positions directly in front of him. So too Marco Tacchini. Let's not forget him, and of course Matteo Lenoir. Still over 30 drivers out on the track, but the battle up at the front is incredible. As we can see, Ramani has taken the lead. Barnett, oh, having a big wiggle down the mine shaft. That's absolutely not what he needed. The Ferrari's going to be able to outbrake him here. There's going to be a serious concertina effect. Oh, and the Porsches run wide on the exit. So going from bad to worse there and through it in Galway, it is the Ferrari getting the job done. Marco Tacchini in the background, finding the slippery stuff just a bit too slippery there. Big wiggle. Ethan Faulkner looking for a cutback as the Aston Martin of FRLs. Marco Tacchini almost gets his nose cut off in this battle for podium positions, and all the while Axel Ramani has said see you later. He has shown a clean pair of heels. 2.5 seconds he's now got ahead of the battling pack that's chasing them. The Ferrari having a look up the inside, the Porsche round the outside. There's penalties being handed out. Miazza has just been given a 5-second penalty. Oh, and Aston Martin once again, a Kamashi just falling foul of those curves. He really is going to have to watch that. The Porsche, oh, looked like he was understeering there, but he did carry a lot of momentum through that corner. Lenoir in the background was putting Marco Tacchini under some pressure then. Oh, they were almost side by side into sunset, nothing doing. It was the cup of tea. Nothing doing at this point. Trippiani. Still great battles going on down the field, but the battle up for the podium positions definitely cannot be ignored. Trippiani trying to get his way past Giaglio. I hope I'm doing that name some justice. We've got Golshaven back down to 13th position. He's coming under some serious pressure from Slomer and Pittick. As we can see, penalties being handed out. The Honda of Co, one-time race leader. Oh, he's now in the wall. So he's just been given a penalty there, and we've just jumped on board in time to see him make contact with the wall. Not sure what there. Oh, and the McLaren in the background, the McLaren and the Honda, sorry, being overtaken there. There's a Lambo just ahead of him on his way into sunset. Oh, and that is extremely clumsy. Massive amounts of understeer from the Honda. Oh, and that's brought him right back out in the middle of the track. The McLaren and the Honda we saw battling in the background did manage to make their way through that one. We do still have 36 cars on track. TP Racing back out. So whatever DQ that was has been overturned by the stewards. We've got BJR, FBB Junior in 35th at the moment, with Sergeyev in 34th, Overt in 33rd, Marjan Koderman in the BMW involved in that first lap incident, 32nd position. Lauriston's in 31st with Rivera trying to catch up. Oh, big battles ahead. Oh, that's the Honda trying to come into the pits. That wasn't so much a battle as this car trying to get out of the way as Co does indeed come into the pit. So he's going to lose places to Kruger, Mertz and Earhart, who are making their way up into the top 25 at this point. Kleiser is in 25th with Milner just ahead of him. Dragon doing some battle at the moment. Sorry, he's watching. Oh, and that is some clumsy driving from both drivers there at first glance. Two of them ended up going the wrong way, and Vlad Will is going to be happy, I'm sure, to see his rear view mirror clear of the chasing pack. So not the best driving there. Vlad Will then in 21st. Nick Parks has got himself 20th position at the moment. Timothy Pala in 19th. David Canton, and name I know well, from the FRS racing team. 18th position. Shoot and Stevens going side by side up the hill towards the mine shaft. It is a massive error on the brakes here by Stevens, and Shoot is going to say thank you very much and take himself 16th position at his expense. Kian Gulshan now finds himself back down into 15th position with Slomer and Trippiani both making their way through. Pitstick still battling with Niall Bullion for 11th position. Giaglia just ahead, with Aguilera just ahead of him. That battle for top 10 honours. Still battles going up through the field, trying to get through all the drivers here. The Sontag starting off here. He's in 8th place. Filippi is currently running in 7th, and then it is the lead group ahead of him. Lenmar still trying to get his way past Marco Tacchini, and Komziak, it would seem, still not getting to grips with the curves in the wet. He's half a second down on Faulkner. Barnett still leading the chasing pack, and it is Ramone then who finds himself with a rather comfortable 2.7 second gap back to the chasing pack. Matej Barnat of Herbert Sport being hunted down by Ethan Faulkner in the distinct GG Ferrari, and they've got Kolzik, who we've seen can put in a good lap. He just, really doesn't. Aston really not enjoying the curbs in the wet. He really does need to get a grip of that if he's going to get himself onto the podium ahead of these drivers. Niall Bullion's got himself in quite the battle as well. The logistical nightmare racing driver. There is another penalty that's just been handed out as well. That one's gone to Hagen Kleiser in 24th position. So quite a few penalties for lap 1 incidents. There was a fair bit of contact as well. The steward's busy. Oh, Faulkner, look how close he is getting as well. So quite the battles right through the field, but this is the 2 podium positions that are up for grab, and Kamajic is getting involved as well through Ngawi, the sausage curb of death, and into the last corner. Look at the run that Faulkner's got. It opens the corner up nicely, tries to get the cut back. He is right in the slipstream though. This is a very inviting turn 1 for this type of manoeuvre, and it certainly looks like it's on for Faulkner here in the Ferrari. The Porsche famously outgunned by most cars, if not all, including the McLaren 650S in the straight line. Faulkner on the inside line, he's going to hold that one beautifully, and he is. Oh, a little bit of contact on the exit. Oh, and again up the straight, and almost contact again. Kamajic, makes contact with the Porsche. The Porsche runs wide. He's had a wiggle on the curbs, and Aston Martin well out of the way there, just in case the Porsche came pinging back there, which was certainly looking likely the way he hit that curbing. We've got Tacchini Giaglio. Let's have a look there. He's got Pitsick just ahead of him, and Niall Bullion still sitting just behind. Got a few drivers in and out the pits to get some damage repaired early doors. Schlomer, Gaucher and Kruger all coming in as well to get their mandatories done. Auvert follows them in for the Supernova Racing team on his lap. So that's a good half a dozen drivers making their way in and out. Stop go 32nd for speeding in the pit lane. Miyaza on the way out. That's an extra tip into the pits, and that was a stop purely for damage. He didn't meet his mandatory requirements there either, so that is another 2 trips into the pits for Miyaza. That is certainly his position going to tumble. He's going to struggle to get anything but last here, although with a lot of rain to fall and a lot of track time still to go, could well see other drivers falling foul of the track limits. Certainly over an hour of racing, the drivers do like to push it and pick themselves up some penalties. So we'll see how they go on. Ramone, 2.8 seconds, so he's pretty much carved himself out that gap. Barnett, after those couple of mistakes, he has lost some ground again, and he is now behind Kamajic. So we've missed the overtake there. We do have someone else coming into the pits. Lenore in 6th position. Filippi currently in 7th, and it is Sontag who's making his way into the pits. Another Honda driver there, so he's going to tumble down the order. David Canton will take 12th position with George Stevens not far behind in the Porsche 13th place. A lot of drivers on out. Lauriston on his way into the pits again. He was just on an outlap. The Lamborghini potentially suffering some damage. Miyaza on his way back out the pits again. He got that penalty. Got that penalty, sorry. And that's him back out on track. So we'll see how it gets on. We've got Pala, Parks, Will all coming into the pits. Rivera in there as well. Mertz into the pits. The stop go for Miyaza for speeding in the pit lane. So he did come into the pits, and he's been given a penalty as well. So yeah, penalties coming thick and fast as Ramone comes into the pits, followed by Faulkner in second then. So the top 2 making their way in. Kamajic has stayed out, so is Barnett, closely chasing them, in fact. Takini, 5th place, he'll be promoted a couple of positions, so too will Lenoir. As I say, Paul Ventnor no longer in, but still on the board. So the race spirit team Ferrari, guided by Matteo Lenoir. Ooh, runs a bit deep there into turn number 1. Bullion with a penalty up into 7th position. Dragon's got 15 seconds to serve when he comes into the pits. And in fact, Kleiser on Milner. Looking very close. This is a battle that we saw earlier on. In fact, the Porsche, the Aston and the McLaren. Hagan in that Porsche then, looking for a move up the inside. Oh, brave move there. The McLaren lost complete grip. The Aston had to take avoiding action, and the Porsche is going to keep... Oh, and that's clumsy into the last turn then. So the stewards, I'm sure, are going to have a look at that. Sontag is going to catch up to that incident as well on these two. So that is quite a few drivers coming in then. We're barely 25 minutes into the race. In fact, 15, 16 minutes into the race, we've already seen quite a few drivers come in. Ramani came in from the lead, and he's managed to get himself a fairly decent track position. He's got a nice bit of clear air ahead of him, and Ethan Faulkner is the car behind them. They've made their way past the Porsche of Kleiser. It's going to have 5 seconds, so that is the top 2 drivers. They came in from 1st and 2nd, so we'll see how long Kamajic, Barnett and Takini decide to stay out. Lenoir as well, he was catching up, and here comes the BMW of Hans Koh, I believe, making his way into the pits. Sorry, Hans Koh, he's in a Honda. It's Marjan Koderman in 25th position for the Fun Sim Racing team, so that's him into the pits. Koh still to serve his pits stop. Miazza serving a stop go 32nd. And yeah, we probably have been well advised to take mandatory requirements then, but another trip into the pits is on the cards for Miazza. Koh just goes to show you the pace that he's got. Started the late race in the lead. 26th position at the moment, but is the fastest car on track. The track definitely drying out. As we can see, no more precipitation falling from the skies. Oh, and that is right over onto the curb. That is a bit of a mess there from Koh. The change in conditions under tyre potentially making this a bit more difficult for the drivers than they'd planned. Up at the front chute then. Still in 7th position, McCanton only half a second behind him. And Barnett really applying some pressure up at the front of the pack against Kamajic. Kamajic taking an interesting line down the mine shaft. Potentially looking to cool his tyres down, looking for some puddles to keep those wet tyres cool. I would imagine both of these drivers are going to come into the pits on this lap if their tyres are suffering. I know they both stay out straight through the puddles then. So there we go, they've both stayed out. Marco Tacchini, he has stayed out as well. And Matteo Lenoir in the Ferrari, they are staying out also. Gauchien then, he was up into 11th at one point. He's now finds himself in 16th out of the pits, and he does have a 10-second penalty. So for the drivers that have carried the penalty, like Kleiser at the moment, he'll serve that in the pits in his pit stop. Anyone that doesn't come into the pits again will serve that serve the penalty. The penalty will be added to the end. Matteo Filippi, sorry. That looks like it's been a big contact, and we've missed that there, but that is one forlorn-looking BMW there in 5th position. So the evolving conditions definitely catching a few of the drivers out. Not so much for the drivers right up at the front with Lenoir still chasing. Shoot 2 to take that pit stop. The SFR Italia driver, Matteo Aglieri, still ahead of Quinton Dragon, who's got that penalty to serve as well. Ramani then, up to 9th position overall. Pretty safe to say he is still the race leader. 2.8 second gap he had over the rest of the field when he came in to take his pit stop, meaning Ethan Faulkner. Second when he came in, 10th at the moment with the pit stops. They've got Hagen Kleiser just behind them. David Canton That's him on the way into the pits. So another top 15 driver making their way in. Niall Bullion has been in and out and served his penalty, and he's back out in 16th position with 4 or 5 drivers ahead of him still to pit. Oh, in fact, quite a few drivers still to pit. 8, 9 in fact. So he could well make up positions, and there is Lenoir coming in to take his pit. On-track leader Kamajuk, Barnett and Takini all in on this lap as well. Let's see what Pitsick does. He's stayed out for the Team Ballas Ukraine. Oh, Sean Shute just being overtaken there by Hans Koh. Shute, oh, he's got a bit of damage as well. So, yep, he's straight into the pits. So that was Koh unlapping himself. Ethan Faulkner sets the fastest lap as the track evolves and drives out. These drivers still in. There is Quentin Dragon coming in the pits. He's going to have an extra 15 seconds before he can get any work done to his car. And there is Ramone around the last corner. Komajuk is on the way out of the pits, but the lead of the race will be retaken by Ramone. Here comes Ethan Faulkner as well. And there is Komajuk leaving the pits, so he's still in the pit lane. He has been released, so he is back out in 3rd position. So a good race there so far for him, maintaining the podium position. But it is Ramone who's back into the lead of the race. 43 minutes to go. Let's hope the heavens open once again. There's Shooting Dragon tumbling down the order. Dragon, of course, with that extra 15 seconds to serve. Golshian with all the pit stops. Back up to 10th position. So a good run there. Stop, go cleared for car number 5. That was Miazza. Dragon still in the pit stop. He really is suffering. That 15 seconds has been extremely costly. Yep, Trippiani through as well. Valentin Sergeyev in the Porsche. He's got Miazza ahead of him. So Miazza has been into the pits 3 times already. And he's got 1 more to go to get that mandatory requirement served and out of the way. George Stevens is watching a battle between... in fact, no, he's just got involved in a battle. He's just gone past... Sean Shute, who's just come... okay, because Sean's just come out of the pits. That's why the data was double. He's got the damage repaired. He is back out of the pits. 42 minutes to go with an ever-drying track, so it's all going to be down to the tyres from here. Takini, all over the back of Kleiser. Oh, gets himself right out of the way. There is Agliere. Is into the pits. Kleiser in as well. Pitsick out of the front, still needs to pit. Sontag in the Honda, the keeper of the top 10 at the moment, but that is under serious pressure from Niall Bullion. Niall Bullion, Loris Giaglio. There's Aglieri dropping down the order as he stays in the pits. That's Bullion in 12th place. Is he going to have a look up the inside here into turn number 1? He's certainly got the impotence. He's got his nose in front, and that is job done. Is the Ferrari on for the cutback? Giagli looking to fight back as the head up the hill, but it is job done at the moment anyway. For Bullion. And he is going to maintain that position into sunset. Just ahead of him, David Canton and Kian Golshan find themselves... Golshan, sorry. Find themselves either side of Tobias Sontag in the Honda, but the Aston Martin of Canton definitely looks the racier of the two at the moment. Getting to grips with the evolving conditions a lot better than the Aston at the minute, it would seem. And down through the S's again. Look at the run that Aston Martin's got. He's going to get a good look up the hill. And the Honda, already been in the pits. Honda's pretty famous for not being good on their tyres come the end of a stint. Nice line there. Sontag coming to defend Canton all over the back of him at the moment. Kleiser is looking really close. Oh, we've lost Ramone. We have lost Ramone. It's saying he's in the pits, but we no longer have Ramone in the race. So race leader Ramone no longer in the server. So Ethan Faulkner has been promoted to the lead of the race. Matteo Lenoir up into 6th position now and all over the back of Marco Tacchini. So Kamashuk is in 2nd pretty much, and Barnett is going to take 3rd place. Ollie Pitzik, let's have a look at his lap times. Comparatively speaking, he's a fair bit slower than the drivers behind him. So he will lose quite a few positions when he comes into the pits. But yeah, Ramone. So yeah, we'll have actually lost quite a few drivers through the server disconnects. Hopefully we don't lose any more. He's got a 2nd place, just a lap and last, 39 minutes of the race left to go. Aguilera still looking for top 15 honours. And there's Cole coming in to take his mandatory pit stop. 23rd position, so he's certainly making his way back through the field after the early woes. Sean Shute, after picking up a bit of damage, he's got that repaired. He's back out the pits and he is hunting down Vlad Will and George Stevens just ahead of him. The BMW versus the Honda. This one could go for a while as well. Phenomenal stuff. Matteo Aguilera at the top of the mine shaft, having a good look down the inside of the BMW of Nick Parks. I'm sorry, Aguilera in the BMW as well, so as the battle of the BMW is down the mine shaft. Oh, that's a good line taken there by Aguilera, although he backs right out of it on his way towards Ngawi. Doesn't want to go side by side through this section of the course. Absolutely can't say I blame him. George Stevens, Vlad Wilt and Sean Shute just behind. Keeping themselves very close at the minute as well. Lenoir still applying pressure to Tacchini, who was all over the back of Barnett. Barnett now 6 seconds down on Kamajuk, but he is on the podium as Pitzik did come in to take his pit stop. He is back out, it says at the moment. He is in 7th, and that could well be accurate as there's Keelan Golshayan just ahead. And Canton has made his way past as well. 10-second penalty for Golshayan to get added at the end, and Kleiser just ahead mean that Sontag and Bullion could find themselves with another couple of positions. Canton definitely looking good for a top 10 at this point in time as well. And Matteo Lenoir still applying the pressure heavily now to Marco Tacchini as that track dries out. Let me just double check. For some reason, there we go. Hello to everyone in the chat, by the way. Apologies, I just realised that for some reason the chat wasn't coming through. But to anybody that is watching, hope everyone's enjoying it so far. Any problems with the volume or anything, let me know if the microphone is too loud compared to anything else. Let's see, is that Lenoir? Is that for position? No, that's blue flags. So that is blue flags as he still hunts down. Tacchini ahead of him. Tacchini getting a couple of shouts in the chat as well, which you'll love to see. Very quickly. There we go, much better. Yeah, so more blue flags that we're watching at the moment. Although Aguilera, that is an Aston Martin behind him and not a BMW. So Parks is under influence of blue flags at the moment. Filippi, who saw with some damage earlier on, back out and getting himself. Oh, and the 987 has had an absolute shocker there. Let's just see if we can catch. So yeah, so left speed. Oh, and just kicked off the curb there. Unfortunate. Comes back over. Oh, and collects him. Oh, goodness me. That is the second nose-on impact for the BMW this race for Shoot. And yeah, certainly won't be overly impressed with that one. Sorry, that wasn't Shoot's BMW. In fact, because there is Shoot there, just getting himself past Stevens, still defending. They've got Pala looking to get himself involved as well. The Honda are well just ahead, hunting down Parks. Just looking, there is Sontag there. Okay, that's why. There we go. I wonder why his telemetry is slightly off in this lap. He is being unlapped from Hans Koh, who is still the fastest driver on track, despite being as far down the order as he is. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, of course he's not. Sorry, Ethan Faulkner's taking the fastest lap at this point. No, he's not. Kamaziuk is taking the fastest lap, and in doing so, he's actually closed the gap. While I've been watching down the order, it looks like the drivers up at the front are looking for a bit of camera time themselves. On the bonnet, Kamaziuk through the final two corners. He can read everything on the back of that Ferrari. 16 laps in, 34 minutes to go, and the track drying out now at an unbelievably quick rate. And yeah, penalty for car 987. I did think there would be something coming there. Side by side into turn number one. Kyalami turn number one is a phenomenal track. Phenomenal corner, sorry. I got myself completely sidetracked watching this battle as these two almost making contact up through the first three corners, but it is still very close, and Barnett has crossed the line. So the evolving track, the fastest lap is going to change hands quite a few times. Oh, Pala is very close, but so too. This is the battle for the lead of the race, so we really do need to hang on with this one. On board with the Aston Martin then. The top two after Renoir. Cruelly ejected from the race. Ramone, sorry. Cruelly ejected from the race server. Hasn't managed to make his way back in. But yeah, server disconnect. Definitely robbed him of a race win here. Down at the mineshaft, the Aston Martin again, all over the back of the Ferrari. Is he going to have a look on the way into Ngawe? They're going to go side by side. He's going to be heavy on the brakes. Aston Martin really needs to hold this apex nice and tight to leave room if he's going to get the overtake, and he does indeed get it done. Beautiful move there by the Aston Martin. Oh, and yeah, the Ferrari perhaps not taking the ideal line there, actually. So that did look like it made it just a touch easier then for the Aston to make it through, but he's certainly the quicker of the two and applying all that pressure, and it has paid dividends as Kamaziuk once again takes the lead of the race. Faulkner in second, and Matej Barnett, who is the fastest car on the track at the moment, in third place. Takini in fourth, Lenoir right behind him. So we'll have a look at this one into turn number one. Over the halfway mark in the race now. Gauchien in 11th, looking like he's trying to get past Sontag as well. So we'll catch up with that once we see how this one plays out. Up into turn number three, the Ferrari definitely looking the quicker of the two cars here. The Aston coming under all kinds of pressure. That wasn't the turn-in that the Aston needed there. Fully in the slipstream. We're going to see side by side into Sunset. Potentially on the way out, so down through the S's and down mineshaft. This is going to be unbelievably close if the Ferrari can keep this one up. Shoot, Will and Parks are still battling hard as well. There is Vlad Will. They have just been overtaken, in fact, by Parks. He finds himself sandwiched by the BMWs, but he's having a look up the inside. More than enough room left by the BMW, and he's maybe been a bit generous, the Honda, on his brakes, because Shoot has just thrown that one beautifully right round the outside. All the grip in the world for the BMW, and the Honda losing 2 positions to the BMWs in a space of 2 corners, and he now finds himself being hunted down by Timothy Pala. So we're going to have a pair of Hondas running to the end. There is Rivera coming in to the pits, one of the last few drivers to take his mandatory pit stop. Milner in there as well. And of course, we've got Cueto in. 30 seconds still to take his, and Miazza still to take his. And after already being in the pits 3 times, he will be well acquainted with the pit stop procedures. In 14th place, Shoot, after getting that beautiful move done on the Porsche, is looking to, on the Honda, sorry, the Honda looking to come right back up and down the mine shaft. Then they're going to be side by side down at the mine shaft. We've got a red light flashing on the back of the BMW, so he's still on a rain fuel map, unless that is just a feature of the new BMW. But yeah, flashing lights on the back of the car generally means they're running on restricted power, aka a lower fuel map because of the rainy conditions. But Shoot, not showing any ill effects of that. If he is going for a good old fashioned cutback out with the last corner, maybe wanted to stay in the slipstream a little bit longer because the BMW Parks looks like he got a good run. Not only that, Vlad will as well, getting himself a great run on his way into turn number 1. And he's bringing, and that's a 3-wide situation into turn 1. Sails it up the inside, and that is Shoot. And speaking of sailing it up the inside, what a move by Pala there. Timed that absolutely perfectly to get that move done into turn number 1. You can see the battling BMW is ahead, and he's getting a great tow from the Honda. Something that the BMWs didn't do well. You can see they're side by side, the Honda right in that slipstream. So he's carrying a nice extra bit of momentum, goes heavy on the brakes, really does open that corner out, and look at the apex he gets there. Phenomenal corner to throw that up the inside of the fellow Honda driver, and very nearly get the BMW in the same manoeuvre. He has been re-overtaken though. Pala has been re-overtaken while we're watching the replay. Will has gotten himself back ahead. Parks and Shoot, the BMW is still ahead. Shoot now separating himself a little bit from this battle. Up in 5th place, Matteo Lenoir is still trying to hunt down Marco Tacchini. These two, I'm sure, will be more than aware of what's been going on up ahead. And they'll be hoping that these drivers close in and get themselves a bit of battling going on. But Kamashik at the minute, 2.8 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. He's got a bit of traffic to come fairly soon. Ethan Faulkner doesn't have anything between himself and the race leader at the moment. And Matej Barra in the same position. So the 3 podium drivers are all they can see at the moment. Lenoir on Tacchini, still closing in there, and Vlad will as well. He's got closed right up on the parts. Looks like they're making their way through some blue flag traffic as well. Certainly aiding some drivers, hindering others. And in fact, in 20th position, Dragon trying to find his way. And the blue flag Honda had a wiggle on the curves. That's the 2nd or 3rd car we've seen take a bit of a run across the side of that curbing. All kinds of messy on the way into sunset there, but Will did manage to hold on to that, and he is going to hold on to the position. And Pala on the exit curb. You don't like to see it. Another driver falling foul of the exit curb. You can see just puts the wheels too far onto the grass. No traction whatsoever, and the Honda straight into the wall. So that's going to be a big gap opening up, and a bit of damage. Not too much damage though. Certainly could have been a much bigger contact. The driver doing well to minimise the damage there. But that is going to open up a gap to Will ahead. Will then now free to concentrate purely on Parks. And Parks, big oversteer, massive correction there. And that is Will. 2 mistakes in 4 corners by his competitors. Vlad Will up to 14th position. Let's have a look and see if Lenoir has managed to get his way past the Keeney. He's certainly got himself attached to that rear spoiler. Absolutely got the bit between his teeth, and he is not letting the battle for 4th go. Kamashchuk still the fastest driver on the track, 141.2, so the lap time's absolutely tumbling compared to the 144. Side by side at the top of the mine shaft. No room for the cutback, but he is certainly letting Tacchini know that he is there at absolutely every single opportunity. That is Martin Koderman just ahead of him in the BMW, so there will be blue flags when they catch up, and you can see just how close that the Ferrari is getting every single braking zone. Tacchini really feeling the pressure from the Ferrari behind. Out with the last corner is Lenoir. Right on that inside curve, beautifully onto the outside curve. Tacchini not using as much as the track as perhaps he needed to, but he still managed to get an excellent exit from the corner. And he's keeping Lenoir just at arm's length into turn number 1. It's going to be a bit far back from Lenoir. Oh, is it? The Aston Martin almost running a touch wide there, but he manages to maintain it. But Lenoir again in the braking zone. Unbelievably close. He's getting up through turn number 3. This is surely it into Sunset. He's going to go side by side. And they are going to go side by side into Sunset. It's going to be the Aston. Oh, they've almost made contact there. Sorry, extremely warm and drying here this evening. Yeah, but Aston Martin down through the S is still feeling the pressure from the Ferrari. Niall Bullion had a little penalty early doors as well. He's in 8th place, and I believe he's just got him. No, he's just trying to get himself ahead of David Canton. So position change there. Filippi looking for positional improvements as well. But we'll jump back onto this battle here. Faulkner now. Let's have a look at that. So he is 5.2 seconds now down on the race leader. Again, at the bottom of the mineshaft, the Ferrari getting so close in the braking zone, but the Aston just managing to pull away in the early acceleration phase of the corner exits over Ngawe. Well, no, both of them round Ngawe, neither of them over the sausage curve. Obviously, that thing, you hit it the wrong way, it will put you into the pit lane, no problems whatsoever. A few pirouettes on the way as well. Less than half a second, less than a quarter of a second as they cross the line into turn 1. The Ferrari again looking to open up the corner, trying to get a cutback with that better apex. Does get a good turn round there. Is a good rotation, sorry. Oh, Barnett is caught right back up to Faulkner as well. Oh, the back of the Ferrari almost letting go then. That's going to be all she wrote for this phase. Faulkner, I don't know if he's had some kind of issue, but he's finding himself under all kinds of pressure. There's the Honda we saw caught up in the blue flag incident early on. So that's certainly not having anything to do with this. It would appear that Barnett is just on an absolute worldie of a run at the moment. Faulkner, as we can see, no issues there on his way into turn 1. Well, of course, a lot later on the brakes there. Certainly the noticeable thing from that. Oh, and there we go, turn 3 on the exit, 2 wheels on the grass. And that is certainly going to rob you of a bit of momentum. So coming into Sunset, the Porsche really closing that gap. Again, Faulkner riding that inside curve, a bit of dust kicking up. So contact with the grass, and yep, the Porsche absolutely closing in on them then. So just a couple of minor mistakes there. And that is 2 podium positions, now likely to trade places. Lenoir still, oh, he's gone up the inside of the last corner. Has he got the run on the exit? The Porsche didn't get the move done there, so that must have been a phenomenal run down the mineshaft for the Ferrari. Not as good as I was expecting, to be honest. So as Aston Martin made a mistake coming through in Ngawe. Oh, he did. A little bit of understeer there, really ought to extra. A bit of extra input, and the Ferrari got nice and close, really on that inside curve. But oh, and the two of them taking a little extra steering just to avoid any contact. But Lenoir still seriously applying the pressure up at the front. Kamajic under no pressure at all at a minute. 8.3 seconds to the good over the chasing pack, and the chasing pack are doing more chasing of themselves than him at the moment. 3/10 separating second and third, 3/10 separating fourth and fifth, and in fact Niall Bullion still chasing down David Canton, only 2/10 separating those two. Sean Shute in the BMW has got the damage repaired, as I mentioned, and he's back out. And it is Aglieri in the BMW. He's looking to get himself past Pala has caught himself back up to Parks, who has been overtaken comfortably then by Vladwell in the Honda. Hans Koh still running in 23rd position. That's the position he was in when he came into the pits. Of course, started the race in the lead. 20 minutes left to go for him to try and make up some positions. 32nd place at the moment is Rodriguez Quieto in the Ferrari. He still has a pit stop to take. So I wonder if he started the race on dry tyres just to ride out the wet, because if he's on wet tyres at the minute, that is an absolute Herculean shift, considering along the track has now been dry for. Trippiani on Kleister looking close to get himself inside the top 20. But all the battling really up at the front of the pack. Faulkner still defending from Barnett, and Tacchini still defending from Lenoir. Blue flags will be on the menu for the majority of the lead racers for the rest of the race. Shouldn't pose too many issues though, but can certainly pose a free overtaking opportunity to a wily campaigner that knows where to put the car when the blue flags are getting out of the way. Barnett down the mineshaft. The Porsche again really looking quick down the mineshaft. Big look up the inside. That BMW ahead. Oh, there's a Porsche just ahead of them, sorry. But big look up the inside there. Flash of the lights here from Faulkner asking to please be lit past. So they'll make their way through there. Oh, the Porsche, look how close he's getting with these blue flags being close to them. Lenoir still getting close as well. They're going to be coming past these cars pretty soon. They do make their way through. Aguilera and Vladwell. They've caught right back up the chute again then. Chute we've seen. Had some damage repaired. Appears to be damage free at the moment, which, yeah, we go, yep, definitely is. But he is being closed in on by Aguilera and Will. Pala closing in on Parks as well, in fact. And there's a 5-second penalty for 5.924. So more penalties being handed out still. Let's get back up to the front now, looking down the field to see how the rest of them are getting on. But the battle's up at the front. This podium battle between Barnett and Faulkner really coming to life now. 2 10s, and it's Lenoir. So Lenoir has been given a 5-second penalty. So not only does he need to get ahead of Tacchini, he needs to get a 5-second gap over him to hold on to that 5th position. That does seem like a massive ask, given that he has been stuck under his rear spoiler for the last 12 laps. So yeah, it really is. Matteo Lenoir now knows he really needs to push the pace if he wants to get 5th position and hold on to it. He needs a 5.3 second turnaround. Barnett still 3rd place. Chasing Faulkner still. Around that last corner, Kamaziuk has been handed this lead. And he's got himself now a commanding lead. 12.6 seconds is the deficit the rest of the field have to try and overturn, and at the moment the only thing they're trying to overturn is one another as the Porsche into turn 1 tries to get ahead of the Ferrari. Oh, they're going to potentially be side by side on exit. Up into turn 3, as we've seen quite a few cars fall in foul of turn number 3. Nothing doing at the moment. The Porsche making sure he gets as much slipstream as he can. Aguilera is still trying to get his way past Vladwell, easy for me to say. And Lenoir still hanging on to the back of Tacchini. But that 5-second penalty does look like it's going to be the deciding factor between these two, as they cannot get this one separated on the racetrack. Tacchini defending masterfully at the moment, and Faulkner's going to have to do the same as Barnett. Is not going away anytime soon, that is for sure, as they come down the mineshaft once again. The Porsche really is all over the back of that Ferrari. We've seen him brake later here a few times. Stays in line this time. Nice apex by them both towards Ngawi once again. No blue flags to hinder their advance at the moment. Oh, and the Porsche really right out on the curbs here. He's going to have dirty tyres back on the track. He does manage to keep the car in check. That is unbelievably well held. That could have been all kinds of disasters there. And he's not only kept the car on the track, he's managed to keep the pressure applied to Faulkner into turn number 1. Have a look up the inside once again. Oh, and they've got the side-by-side. He's got the exit. Oh, just about. Oh, and a bit of contact between the two of them on the way up the hill. Faulkner does hold on to second position for the moment, but the Porsche really applying the pressure now. 14 minutes left to go. Lenoir still going to get past Bikini. Oh, Tacchini, sorry. Oh, Tacchini looking for the cut by there. Bit of a wiggle by the Ferrari. Let's have a look at that one again. So they came down the last corner. It is still a position on for the Aston. Oh, the Ferrari really close on the exit. Monster amount of slipstream is going to be getting handed out there. And into turn number 1, he shows them the outside and then pops it right up the inside. The Ferrari getting the job done. Can he now get himself a 5-second gap over Marco Tacchini to maintain that 5th position? There's plenty of blue flag traffic. That'll certainly help his cause. We can see Tacchini just making his way past that gap. Will be revealed as they get to the bottom of the mine shaft. Faulkner has been overtaken by Barnett then. Up towards the mine shaft. Oh, and he gets it done at the top of the mine shaft. Nicely on the apex and down the hill. The Porsche gets a good run. Little touch of the curves on the left-hand side. Manages to steady the car and keep that position down the mine shaft. Faulkner right on that outside curbing. Having a look to open the corner up, trying to get the cut back. Nothing doing though. The Porsche keeps a very quick line through there and into Ngawi. He's held on to that 2nd position. They've just made their way past some blue flags as well. Will now finds himself battling with Gulshian. And they have got Sontag just ahead of them. So this battle really has snuck up on me then. We've got a couple of penalties being served by this group of drivers as well. Matteo Aglieri could be the big beneficiary here. 10 seconds each for Sontag and Gulshian. So Will and Aglieri. Oh, and that looked like a bit of clumsiness there, followed by some more clumsiness. And yeah, a couple of drivers off the track there. Vlad Will. Oh, and he's already off by then. So yeah, 3 wide at the bottom of the mine shaft. Doesn't often work out for any of the cars involved, and it's Will that's found that one out the hard way there. Kamajuk then, 12 minutes left to go at Kyalami for round 1 of the ERS season. Of course, a rerun of last week after a bit of a server issue towards the end of the race. A vote was taken and it was decided to run round 1 again. Kamajuk will certainly be happy they did. He has got himself a commanding lead. Barnett at the moment then finds himself in 2nd with an 8/10 gap over Faulkner, although I would suggest that's potentially just over 8/10. Yet a second. They've got Pitsik, one of the latest pitters that we saw, the Team Ballas Ukraine driver, finds himself in 4th position. So great drive there, Lenoir, as we saw. Got himself ahead of Marco Tacchini. Needs that number to get to 5 seconds. Currently only sitting at 1.3. So he will lose that position then. David Canton in 7th place, still under pressure from Niall Bullion. Giaglio in 9th position. We shoot in 10th. Then Sontag and Gulshian, as I mentioned, the 2 drivers that have got these penalties to be added to the race at the end. And Aguilera's actually got the move done on Gulshian coming down the mine shaft. Vlad Will going to get involved in this battle as well. Tries to go round the outside, opens the door for Gulshian to say thank you very much. He's going to be side by side into Ngawi, which he does not want to do. They managed to avoid that situation. They've got Stevens just in the background as well, and Pala joining in this battle. In fact, that's not Stevens, that is Rivera being lapped. But that is Gauchien. You can see just how many cars he's got following him along the start-finish straight at the moment. There's Pala Quinton Dragon, not far behind. Nick Parks still getting involved there. George Stevens a little bit further down the road. So these drivers battling amongst themselves at the moment. Aglieri currently in 12th place. He knows that Sontag's got a penalty. He does look like he's very comfortably going to get this overtake done before the end of the race. Into sunset, then he shows him the outside, takes the inside, and he makes that one stick beautifully. The BMW apparently a lot more grip than the Honda on the way into sunset. And Gauchien in the Porsche looking to prove the Porsche does as well. He's going to go side by side. Nope, that just looked like it from that angle, but he is definitely looking quick at the moment. With Vladwell and Pala as well. Oh, and the Honda not looking good down through the S's, and towards the top of the mine shaft it's going to be Pala having another look at this position, and Quinton Dragon looking to get himself involved. It's a Porsche Gauchien that's going to lose out then, as Will makes his way through it down at the mine shaft then. So that has all changed as Gauchien seemingly runs too deep on the way into the mine shaft, and Vladwell, is he going to make it 2 positions in 3 corners as he tries to go round the outside of the fellow Honda? Surely somebody's going to be side by side into Ngawi here. Gauchien's going to have to back right out of this one, or he's going to hit that sausage curb. And I tell you, he's lost a lot of momentum there to the Honda behind him, and Quinton Parks is going to take, and that BMW in the background, that is Nick Parks, who's getting right on top of this battle as well. And he does have Stevens not far behind him. So this battle really spicing up in the middle of the pack then. Parks, Dragon, Gauchien and Pala into turn number 1, led by Vlad. Well, there's Aglieri just ahead of him. And that is one of the Hondas being absolutely hung out to dry. That is Sontag. Oh, and look how close he's got. A little bit of contact there from Parks. The sort of concertina effect, and that's 3 cars. Oh, and it's Gauchien, the only driver left, facing the wrong way there. Unfortunately, it's an ill wind that blows nobody some good. A couple of drivers are going to make positions there at the expense of Cian Gauchien. Unfortunate stuff there. Kamashuk then, still in the lead of the race. Barnett in second, now 4.3 seconds ahead of Faulkner. Ollie Pitchik is in 4th place. Renoir still in 5th, but got that 5 seconds and only 1.6 seconds ahead of Takini in 6th position. Canton is in 7th. Niall Bullion in 8th, and Loris Graglia is in 9th position, with Sean Shute rounding out the top 10. We have seen all the drivers finally take their pit stops. Down through the rest of the field, Cueto, Sergeyev, Auvert and Earhart all still running. Earhart Lauriston. Earhart not Lauriston is. Mertz Miazza, a couple of extra trips into the pits, but still in 25th position. And Milner and Kruger ahead with 10-second penalties. Hans Koh has disconnected from the server, unfortunately. Rivera is still in. Filippi's disconnected from the server as well, it would appear. So a couple of the drivers dropping, so we'll keep an eye on the drivers up at the front. I don't want to run through the order again and we'll miss anything. So Kamashuk is still leading. He's just got up to the battle with Nick Parks there. So he'll be blue flagged through there very quickly. Barnett 13 seconds down the road. And since getting ahead of Faulkner, he's got himself a 6-second gap. Vlad Will within a 10th of Aglieri then. So once he's dispensed of that battle behind him, he's wasted no time catching up to Aglieri, and Aglieri's wasted no time making a mistake on that outside curb, and once again on the way into the S's. Once again, all very almost. We saw another overtake on the way into the S's. That exit curb really causing quite a few drivers some issues this evening, that is for sure. Quinton Dragon, we saw with the penalty earlier, he's just got the overtake done there on Sontag. Sontag's been involved in some serious battles throughout this race as well. And a beautiful move there by the Aston up the inside, very nicely done, and on the way down the S's, he has got that move. So yeah, Quentin Dragon finding himself a late positional improvement. Only a few laps left to go. There is race leader Komajic. Phenomenal race he's had, let's face it. He's kept his head while quite a few others around him have lost theirs. Max Super Max. So I'm guessing he's an Aston Martin fan. He's driving the Aston Martin. I could have went a better one than that. But now Bullion. Looks to be the last driver inside the top 10, trying to get himself a position. Pala and Will in the Hondas are still doing battle. Pala has caught up to the battle between Will and Aglieri. 4 minutes left to go. These drivers, oh, and again a big wiggle on that exit curve before the S's, and that is Pala this time, finding himself wiggling all over the track. He definitely doesn't want to do that too often in these closing stages. Let me just fix that volume. But yeah, Pala and Will. There's Komajic still making his way through the blue flag traffic. 3.5 minutes left to go. 1 minute 45 the lap times it now sitting at. It says Barnett's done a 1:41.3. And in fact, the quickest lap of the race, sorry, 1 minute 40.777. So Komajic really did get some pace up there at the front. Lauriston in the Lambo. He's still running as well, and just to confirm, it is 30 drivers that are still on, so we'll have lost a few, unfortunately. Hopefully Kunos get the servers fixed sooner rather than later. Oh, Vlad Will still applying the pressure, because the pressure is being applied, and Dragon in the background could definitely enjoy what he's seeing. Timothy Pala side by side with the Honda. Oh, and there's a bit of contact there. The Honda's run by, and they did mention Quentin Dragon a second ago, and he won't be any slouch up the inside. And that is double contact there for Vlad Will, and that sees him losing a hatful of positions. Oh, and he tries to get out of the way as quickly as possible, and gives that one a serious smash into the barriers. That is Gaucher, Stevens, Trippiani all making their way through. Kleiser, I believe. Sorry, he's just a little bit back, so it is Trippiani in the gang. Stevens, Gaucher, Gaucher losing the positions to all those drivers then. So another unfortunate incident there. Niall Bullion, as I keep mentioning, he's trying to get his way still past David Canton. Great defending by David at the moment. Pretty much got the job done. 2 minutes left to go. 35 laps in. It's still Komajic leading the way, and he's actually caught up to the battle between Dragon and the gang ahead. Now only 9 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Barnett making his way through some traffic as well. Faulkner now 10 seconds down. Pitsick definitely hanging on there to 4th. Will Lenoir hang on to 5th? He's got 1.5 minutes left out on track to get himself another 1.4 seconds over to Keeney to hang on to that 5th position. They've both got some blue flag traffic to deal with. Whoever deals with it better is going to hang on to 5th. Bullion again getting right within 0.3 of a second as they come down to the bottom of the mine shaft. Aston v Aston, and it is Canton at the moment that is holding the position. Oh, Bullion really riding out on those curbs. That is a brave manoeuvre, but if you want the extra point, although to be fair, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, and the way this race has gone for some people, I'd imagine they'd have taken your hand off for 8th place either before the start of the race or after the incidents that they've had. Yeah, a couple of drivers as well. Axel Ramone, of course, long-time race leader, fell foul. Oh, and that is a big wiggle there. The lead Aston flashing these lights. Not overly impressed with the Lamborghini's evasive manoeuvres there. Never a good idea to slow right down the middle of a corner. Just if you're being blue flagged, just be predictable or stick to your driving line and let the quicker driver make his way past. But yeah, big wiggle. Brilliant respecting that and not taking the position, and they're going to continue the battle. That is Komacic then starting the final lap. What a race again. He has been phenomenal from start to finish, managed to avoid the incidents which ailed quite a few of the drivers, and got himself into the pits, back out on the perfect tyre choice as well, it would seem, given the lap times and the consistency that he's been putting in. Coming towards sunset, he is going to catch up to the back of Pala, who's still battling with Aguilera, but I'm sure those two will get themselves out of the way very quickly when the race leader makes his way to them. He's still got about half a lap to go, so Niall Bullion, let's keep an eye on this battle with him and Canton until the race leader crosses the line, and Pala as well, in fact. Given the race leader is catching up, he can maybe use that to his advantage to try and sneak a bit of an overtake. These drivers are a lap down, so when the leader crosses the line, they will still have another lap to complete, because they're going to cross the line, of course. Well, not of course, sorry, potentially just ahead of him as he finishes, so we'll see if he gets ahead of them. I'm sure they'd much rather finish on the lead lap. Ooh, and you can see just how close they get, but are going to stay on the race leader road, see him cross the line. But we're still going to see plenty of battle in action, because Komacic crosses the line, takes himself a very well-deserved race win here in round number one. It is going to be Matej Barrett then, rounding the last corner in the Porsche. Is going to take the checkered flag for second position, and it will be Ethan Faulkner on the final spot of the podium. Takes himself third place for the stint. GD pit sick with a late pit stop, sees himself in fourth place, and Lenoir has got a 4-second gap over to Keeney. Is that going to be enough? We'll certainly find out in the standings. Lenoir, that's him cross the line and taking the checkered flag. to Keeney, 4 seconds down, so when the penalties are added, he will receive fifth position. So we've got quite a few drivers making their way in and out. The pit's the best thing, I think, to do, given the number of cars we've got. Let's quickly grab the replay. And have a look at the full classified results. We'll see if we can get a quick rundown. Who did finish the race? It was Sergeyev in 28th then, so only 29 drivers finished the race. Cueto in 29th, Sergeyev in 28th, Over in 27th, with Lauriston in 26th, Mertz in 25th, Miazza in 24th, with Milner and Kruger. Kruger has just disappeared off the timing boards. What we do know is that Komacic has won the race. Barnett got second place, and it was Ethan Faulkner that took third. There we can see the race control on the side. Quite a few penalties, as we saw, handed out during an action-packed round number one at a very rainy Kyalami. It's been, unfortunately, we did miss the start. Someone managed to miss qualifying completely. I'm not 100% sure why it didn't show up for me, but we got in, we got running, and we were treated to some serious action, which was great to see. We will bring up some highlights. So yeah, congratulations to everyone that managed to finish the race, especially congratulations, of course, to the podium sitters. Great race by all involved. P17 on debut. P15 says Hunter Striker. Phenomenal stuff. Well done. A great debut. 15th, especially in that field in those conditions. Definitely not the easiest, that is for sure. But that was all then for Kyalami. As it was, as you can see at the start of the race, serious rain falling. Pally there down 29th. But that was round number 1. Round 2 will be next week, April the 12th. That will be at Spa-Francorchamps. And we will see how the penalties are applied. The stand-ins will be updated. And we'll get confirmation of the full final stand-ins after any pending penalties have been applied. So make sure you keep an eye on the Discord and the SimGrid website to make sure you keep up to date with the full stand-ins before Spa next week. That is all we have time for. Thank you to everyone that took part in the race, made it to the end. Congratulations again to the podium. Thank you to everyone that kept us busy in the chat. Make sure you hit follow, get those notifications on, and get yourself tuned in with this amount of action. And remember, Remini disconnected as well. He will be back for Spa next week, so make sure you get yourself tuned in for that one. But until then, stay safe, take it easy, and have a great rest of your night. Good night.